You don't forgive people for them, you forgive them for you. Like,
Correct.
because if you allow that to continue to build and fester and roar louder than peace does, then you won't have peace. And you won't
And not only that, you know, is the power. They still
yeah.
that they themselves and the situation has the power over you, and you can
Right.
never move on.
Good evening, Kimberly, and thank you so much for joining me for episode 5 of Reviving the Art Starting with the Heart. How are you?
I am doing well, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. I'm just happy that we were able to get it together because it's been an interesting day.
Yes, but it's fine. You know, we're supposed to meet when we're supposed to. Everything works out when it's supposed to. That's what I
Amen.
truly believe. I don't believe in rushing or getting in a hurry, slowing things down. Everything happens when it's supposed to.
You're right. That's what I live by. That's one of the things. So we here. All right, twin. You ready for your question?
Am. I'm excited.
Okay. Again, the questions are at random. Wherever I land is what we will go with. Hmm. Okay. That's a good one.
Mm.
When you make a mistake, how do you redeem yourself?
When I make a mistake, how do I redeem myself?
Mhm.
First, I have to pause and I have to think about what truly made the situation a mistake. Uh, I feel as though everything that happens is a learning experience. It's a time to learn from. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a mistake. It was just, I just didn't have clarification on it. And I would go back, sit down, and think about it. Uh, and go about it step by step to say, hey, where was that disconnect? But I don't ever think that it's a mistake. It's just a learning opportunity.
Okay. I had a feeling you were going to say something like that. And that's
The older that I get,
mhm.
it's more time of reflection now, where I say it wasn't a mistake. It was just somewhere through that process, I lost focus. And now I'm able to think back on it and start to see that some of those things that I was going through are patterns, and how to go through and how to see that pattern and see if I'm starting to go down that same path, and I can go in and I can stop it and I can redirect myself.
Okay, so just to recap, yours is more of a self-awareness
Mhm.
and self-realization and a way to, I guess, self-correct as well, or be open to criticism, constructive feedback in order to do better. Right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not easily down on myself as much as I used to be, and
Mhm.
I'm starting to take in other perspectives and consider those and not just on my own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that. Okay. And I guess for me, I'll answer too.
Okay.
I I get where you are. I guess I'm leaning towards that direction. I want to call them more so missteps.
Mhm.
Like if I miss the mark, which I mean, in a way, accidentally, it is a mistake, right? Like I didn't mean to, not do what I was supposed to do, or I didn't mean to miss my cue, or to and sometimes I do.
Oh, we're human. Oh, don't
Right.
get me wrong. So if we weren't, I wouldn't be here. Uh, a lot of choices and a lot of
Mhm.
places where I am now, I would not be, you know? So,
Yeah. I mean, like for me, like when I the way that I used to get so bent out of shape when I would mess up or when I would, you know, in terms of work, in terms of relationships, one and the same. I would be my toughest critic. And I still am, but now I am more, what's the word I'm looking for? Grateful, gracious
Yes. Yes.
with myself. When it comes to, okay, well, I made a mistake or I had a misstep, I had a moment. We're human. It's okay to acknowledge, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just like wondering where that comes from. Like where does that come from? You make a mistake and you're so hard on yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think it comes from trying to live up to others'
Mm,
expectations. And when you don't live up to their expectations, you get so bogged down on yourself because you're looking at it through their lens, not through yours. And you're saying, and it's that mental replay of what they
yes.
would say. And you're
Yeah.
constantly replaying their reaction to your life, to your
Okay.
life's choices, and so you're constantly
Reverse.
replaying right, and so you're constantly replaying what their reaction, what their response would be, so whenever you do something, you're automatically thinking from that point of view instead
Yeah.
of from yours, and when you start to shift, say, "Whoa, hold on, these are my decisions. My
Right.
decisions are not going to be in alignment with your expectations. And when they're not, then you start to gain your power because you start to say, I'm okay with my choices. I'm
Right.
okay with the outcomes, whatever
Mhm.
they may be, because it's mine now. And you start to
Mhm.
take ownership and whomever message that you're replaying in your head, that starts to get deleted because now your thoughts are starting to supersede theirs. And now
Mhm.
you're feeding the tape player with your tape, and only your messages are playing now. And so, and so you're like, oh, I'm standing in my power now, you know? And
Mhm.
these decisions that I'm making, whatever happens, I'm okay with it because they're mine and I'm not doing it for anyone else.
True. Okay. Okay. I got a little ugh for that one.
Trust me, I'm almost to the half century mark, okay? So I've had a lot of life lessons to get to this point where I am making that shift, that mental shift to where I am saying, I'm making my choices, whatever the results of them, they're mine now, and I control it, and I'm okay with it, and I give myself grace because everything can't be done in one day. I'm only one person.
Mm,
Therefore, I'm going to take my time.
gotcha. I hear
Mhm.
you. I hear you loud and clear. I guess for me, I know that I guess from childhood, let's start there. Um, Start with our teachers, right?
Mhm.
Which is
Yes.
ironic.
And we have to
They
give ourselves grace as teachers to
yeah,
understand that we are only one person. And
right, no, I'm not right, you're right. I'm saying from my childhood, from being a child
oh,
under
yes,
a
yes, yes.
teacher,
Yes.
right? I'm trying to find the base of where that stems. So like parents send your kids to school saying, okay, go to school, listen to your teachers, do your work, come home, boom, right? Your teachers set that expectation of, okay, these are the expectations. This is what I need you to do, this, that, and the third. I need you to follow the rules. I need you to, whether it's to ask permission before you move, and it's just, I think about how in the field that we're in, specifically in education, or the branch of education that we serve in,
Yes.
I I think about how much grace and how much patience it takes, right, for our babies to
Correct.
correct themselves, which is
Yes.
why I chose the level of education that I did, because I figured if I could get to them first, if I could pour into them first and give them the grace that I know that I can give them the patience, though I don't always have it. I don't.
Right. Right. Oh,
I know.
sometimes I have to put myself in the calming corner, and turn my back to them while I'm sorry, so that they won't see like, who I just went there and
Yeah,
I gained the control back. And because I'm the big person in the classroom, I'm the teacher. So I
yeah,
have to reel it in for myself before I can expect it from them, and model, hey, we have big feelings, and that's how I coined it in the classroom. Everyone in here has big feelings, but we
right,
don't all have to let our big feelings out.
right, right, right. Yeah, I think about how we allow for correction of our pupils, and how they may not get that at home, right?
Correct.
Like for a lot of parents, even just this week, I was having conversations, and this parent was getting a phone call because their kid was just, not acting up in any form or fashion, but he wasn't looking like he was feeling good. So, as our jobs, we're supposed to communicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mom is going off the handle, like talking about, I'm sick of getting calls about your behavior, la 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 la. Whoa. We said nothing about behavior, mama. We said that baby doesn't look like he's feeling good today. And we all have our days when we don't feel good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, there's a disconnect
Right.
almost, right? And I don't think that it has to take, you know, till you're in your 30s or 40s or, close to 50, right?
Right.
To be taught that it's okay to, either make a mistake or have a rough moment or not feel well. It's okay. You're human.
Correct.
Now, I know some kids like to abuse that. And go ahead. You're about to say something.
I was gonna say, but that's the balance and that the delicate balance that we come in, and it's like to even redirect the parents to say the call is not about the behavior. The call is just about visually looking at your child and seeing the physical attributes and the physical that your child is displaying is telling me as the teacher that they're just not feeling well. It's a big
Mhm.
difference between feeling well and then your behavior, which you're accustomed to. And
Yeah.
so we have to go in to reframe it for parents to let them know every call, what we call in our field, grows and glows.
Yeah.
So every call is not going to be about a grow. It's all, we're going to sprinkle in some glows too because our babies are more than capable of getting glows.
Absolutely.
We just have to find those pocket of moments,
Yeah.
in between those grows to say, hey, ooh, I got you,
Right.
and I want to
Right.
celebrate it.
And I think that that should be the norm across the board, not just in schools, but in life.
Yes.
Like, um, like say for example, I have many hats that I wear. I sit in many seats, as I'm moving forward and, just answering the calls that God gave me. Um, and so I'm learning as I go, and I fall short sometimes. And so the way that I readdress the misstep, so that I do better the next time. I think that that should just be a fluid,
Mhm.
form of reconciliation, when there is an
That makes
issue.
sense.
Yeah, in relationships, like say you're with a romantic partner, right? And
Mhm.
something happens that they don't like. How do we move forward? It does. I just don't believe that it has to be so, what's what I'm looking for? So, so what city?
Rigid?
Yeah, so rigid. That's a perfect word. It doesn't have to be rigid for reconciliation to take place. Granted, we're all human and we have emotions, but we can choose which emotions, and we can choose what levels of intensity to bring our emotions up when we learn how to control those things. And I think that that should be a big part of what we do at school, the SEL moments too. Like, like we do it for de-escalation purposes, when a kid has a blow up or whatever. But just in general, like, let's talk about it. Take your moment. And that's biblical too. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Have your
Exactly.
moment, but move forward.
I have it here in my home where I want to set the tone in my home that it's peaceful. You belong here. Everyone should have their space and everyone should know I belong. I don't want my children, my family, my mom, just whomever to think that I can't be myself. I can't express myself at home, and home should be your safe space. And luckily, my children are at an age where, well, I've raised them where open communication, open feelings, but not to the point where we're disrespectful. And my children, sometimes it's a little too free, because as a parent, it's like, "Ooh, how do we tackle some of these topics?" And it's like, but at the same time, you're so thankful and grateful that you've created that space where not only my children's friends, my children's parents,
Mhm.
coworkers, they, they've even expressed who is a one person that I can trust, that I can
Yeah.
go to and speak freely, and I know that my words will never leave the confines of my home, my vehicle, my classroom. And
Mhm.
for me being a first year teacher at this school and in this new county, I I am that go-to person, and it's
Mhm.
like, I don't know you, but you feel safe enough and trust me enough and
Mhm.
trust to ask, "Hey, may I come to you?"
Yeah.
And divulge and purge yourself and know that it will never leave the confines of that classroom. And that says something about a person's character, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. When people in general just feel comfortable to come and share out or to regurgitate and
Mhm. Right, right.
um, verbally about whatever it is, that says a lot about who you are, a lot about your spirit, your soul, um, which is a beautiful thing. I have that. I call it a gift. And sometimes it can be a little bit more than a gift, it feels like. But you know, yeah, it's all good. But that was good. I guess the next direction I want to go in is when someone makes a mistake towards you,
Mhm.
how is it fixable? Like depending on the level of the mistake or misstep.
When I was younger, I would
Mhm.
take it to heart and
Yeah.
never for never forget. And I will move on quickly. I will let it be known that I was hurt. I will let it be known that you lost my trust, and I will
Mm.
move on without hesitation. Uh, Burn the bridge. There's no more existence of a bridge. Never heard of a bridge,
Yeah.
and not even the word be. So it was like, that's all the way up to now, where I know it's not me. I
Mm.
know it's coming from a place of you're hurt. And
Yeah.
hurt people, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you process it,
Mhm.
you turn away from it because if you don't have a place, if they don't have a place or a sounding board, if that's removed, then guess what? They can't say anything anymore. So I remove myself. It's a powerful tool when you can turn and you can walk away, but then you can also come back and you can say, you wronged me, but it won't be done again
Yeah.
because I take the power back and I let you know that I received it and I've processed it. And now I'm coming to you to let you know. But guess what? Because I've let you know, guess what? It won't happen again. And you
Yeah.
hear it and
Mhm.
and you see it in the way people move towards you and the way that they walk up to you and talk to you, and you're like, they got it. And so
I
and,
got you.
and you
Yeah.
like, man, I'm good.
You're
you
so
know?
crazy.
And like and another thing, like Joel Osteen, you have to have that Teflon, where verbal daggers, are coming at you. But like Teflon, they just roll off. So
Got you. Yeah, that's real. That's
mhm,
real. I think that that's something that can be learned and achieved over time as someone chooses to do so.
yes,
I'm learning from my bishop that when people show you who they are through their actions and what they, mishandle you and whatnot, we are to forgive for sure. But forgiveness doesn't mean to allow them the same access that they once had. And
correct.
so I see you. I see where you're at. And for me, like I'm a very empathetic person. Like I understand people enough, which helps me in my forgiving process. Like if I can understand it, even when I can't, but especially when I can
Mhm.
understand the why behind the what, it helps me to release and free myself and redeem the person, of whatever the wrongful act was or whatever their choice was in the matter. That wasn't necessarily the most comfortable for me. And I extend that to my students. I extend that to loved ones, friends, coworkers, colleagues, you know. Um, and it's a gift to really to be able to be at that place instead of harboring anger.
Correct.
Um, I did a TikTok not too long ago about letting go of the negative emotions, and that's one of them. Like anger is one of those negative emotions. My bishop was teaching about it, and I took it and ran with it because it's true. Like you don't forgive people for them, you forgive them for you. Like
Correct.
because if you allow that to continue to build and fester and roar louder than peace does, then you won't have peace, and you won't.
And not only that, you know, is the power. They still
Yeah,
that they themselves and the situation has the power over you. And you can
right,
never move on because
right.
it sits right there.
Exactly. The memories of it, like they keep, yeah, absolutely. Like for me, the past few years, okay, I'm gonna say all the things that I've endured and experienced through my transition of being back here within the last 3 years,
Mhm.
stuff that happened before that, most of it is a blur. Like I've forgotten it, some of it. I'm sure if I have conversations or see certain things or whatever memory is triggered, then it'll come back to me. I'll recall it. But I've truly had to learn how to let go. And I don't know how, going back to teaching kids this, how do you teach a child how to let go? Um,
That how shall I say it? That's for a paid therapist. And the should the oh the most I can say on that one is to offer to offer yourself to just to just to see that child and to let them know that they're not what they've been through. And you just
Mhm.
see them for them. And you are what we call in our profession the cab, the caring adult in the building. And so when they see you, they know that's not the judge. That's just Miss So and so, so and so, and
Yeah.
I can go to that teacher with whatever
Yeah.
and I can debrief and I can relax and I don't have to put up this wall like the walls
Yeah.
of Jericho. All of that is gonna come tumbling down. My
Mhm.
Berlin Wall all of those bricks are gonna come down one by one, where eventually they won't forget it, but they weren't triggered by it and they
Mm.
don't identify with it any longer, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like they no longer hold that to such a high caliber.
Mhm.
I got you. Yeah, it's what amazes me from being in the field for the length of years I've been in it. Um, I remember some of the early parts of my career, and I remember my kids being in inner city kids in a different city, and it was a poor area, right? One of
Mhm.
the lowest of the lowest schools. And the kids were just so angry. They
Yes.
were so angry. And I'm just like, bottle of sunshine. Hi guys. Like ready to rock and roll, not knowing a thing about how to reach these kids. Because they don't teach you that when you're becoming a teacher. They don't teach you
Mhm.
how to mold and gel and how to form those relationships. They tell you a little bit about demographics. They tell you that yeah, you're gonna work with some kids who live in poverty. That you're gonna work with kids who don't know what kindness is sometimes, right? But they don't tell you the how of how to attack that monster and how you won't be able to teach until you get to the root of that little baby. Like, and all the little babies that fill that room. And so I just I had a full circle moment recently from a kid that I taught my first year's teaching. And he stopped me. I went to back to that city to go visit my god baby. And he stopped me in the store. He was the cashier and he was like, "Is your last name?" Mm-mm. And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You taught at such and such." I said, "I did. What's your name?"
You know me?
And he told me his name. And I said, "Oh my God." This was one of the babies that used to give me the business. To get so angry, Kimberly. So angry. And I don't know if I was angry with the kids, their parents, or myself, or my team, or whoever put me in this position. Like, I was just upset because the disrespect was at an all-time high. And I didn't like, me, like you know me. I don't do that. No, 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 no. I give the energy that I want to get back. Like,
Exactly.
and I wasn't getting that. So it was the complete opposite of that. And so for this young man to remember me and for me to have forgotten up until that moment, I remembered, but I see that he's doing well. I asked him, "Are you still in school?" He's in 11th grade this year. I said, "Oh my
Okay.
God. You're about to be a senior in high school." Like, wow. Like, I'm proud of you, first of all, for staying, in
Mhm.
school because he was one of the ones talking about, the nonsense of dropping out and, fooling up with his friends and all the things or whatever at like 7, 8 years old. Boy, you don't know
Yeah.
nothing about life. Stop it. But he was one of the ones who would come back and apologize and try to make it right. Granted, he was still continuing his foolishness, because he wanted to uphold his image with his homies.
You can't show weakness now. So
They know it. No.
look, look, he knew his assignment. Okay, I'll say it like that. he knew his assignment, and so his assignment was, I still have to, man, I'm hardcore. So it was like, no, I'm not going to show her that I am
I
with the
get it.
with the multiple T's.
With the
Okay.
all the T's, the several
Yes.
T's. Yeah.
So
But yeah, no, I just for him to acknowledge me as a previous person in his life that had a hand in raising him,
yes.
that was that okay.
And you never know the impact, the seeds were planted, but you never know. Oh, we go through life, life happens, and you
Yeah,
never know the impact until you see those seeds. And now look at them sprouting, look at them growing, and they still remember. So that says you made a major impact. And
yeah,
kids remember the ones who actually put in the work because are the ones, like you just said, who give them the business. But it's like, but they know that you were coming from a place of love. And it's like, that
yeah,
teacher made an impact. And I'm going to remember that teacher forever, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I was just, yeah, you're right. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what it is. Like when it comes to allowing situations and opportunities in life. Like, okay, we think about, I'm gonna take it spiritual, right?
Okay.
How God isn't a God of condemnation, but He's a God of
Mhm.
conviction. And how, as humans, it's easier for us to dart towards, oh no, bump you, forget you, la 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 la.
Mhm.
Instead of taking a beat, assessing the situation, accepting it for what it is,
Yes.
and moving forward. And so, um, when I have my moments of misstepping or vice versa, someone towards me, my goal is to continue to move the way that, as close as possible to the way that God moves for us, right?
Yeah.
And giving us the opportunities. And that's what it was legit like, Kimberly, like teaching in that classroom. I had babies walking on top of the building, climbing trees, grabbing big behind branches to like play
Okay.
Star Wars with or whatever video game was out back then.
Mhm.
Like, and I had to go in there every single day and say, okay, today is a new day. We're gonna try this
Mhm.
again. And it's like a lot of times adults will say, well, I have the patience to do it for kids, but I don't have to do it for adults. But it's the
Yeah.
same thing. You do.
Yeah.
If you can, first of all, you can do anything that you choose to do, right?
That you really do have to make that mental shift to say, there's a reason why I keep doing it. And we know this profession is the hardest profession and the most underappreciated
Yeah,
profession, but um, it's the most rewarding because we get those babies who come in with everything in them, and we don't
yeah.
know what they have endured once they have left for the day. But when they return, it's like for some, the building is their safe haven. They
It
know
is.
they are safe, they are protected. They know that there are teachers that's going to hold them accountable. They've never been held accountable before, so they buck the system. But over time, they crave it because, believe it or not, children want con- not control, they want order. And
They
they
want
want to know
structure.
and
Yeah.
structure because they know with their structure, this is going to happen then, this is going to happen then, this is going to happen next. And
Hmm.
without it, they're just, I don't know. So that wall remains because they don't know what's coming,
Exactly.
you know? But
Yeah.
but like you said, that particular child, you gave structure, you gave
Mhm.
love, you gave support, and that became a core memory to the point where it's
Yeah.
know her. you
Right.
know?
He remembered, like I said, first of all, I still look the same, thank you. But
Okay, you cute, cute.
you
So,
know.
mhm.
But yes, you're absolutely right. And it's just that moment of I did something right. Like, because in the moments when you're first starting out as a teacher, baby, listen, I don't remember how old I was. I think I was in my early 20s when I started teaching.
Okay,
And I had no clue. As I was doing the things, I did my best. But I did know that gang violence was very heavy in that city. The
okay,
children were exposed to those things. Almost every city I've taught in has been heavy. Every school I've taught in, that area of low socioeconomic status. But yeah, it was just a full circle moment for me.
and you
For
should
him.
be proud. And
Yeah,
to see
I,
you, and I know I've only known you a year, but to
yeah,
see you in your element,
yeah.
you move with such grace and power because they know, man, that's that teacher. And it was like,
Yeah,
oh my goodness, that's that teacher. And
right.
and I have to follow directions. And that teacher is going to hold me accountable. That
Yeah,
teacher will call me out on everything.
exactly. Exactly.
But without you, I've seen what it's like with you, when you're in their presence and how it is when you're out of their presence or when you're not even in the building. And I'm like, that dynamic is mind blowing because it's like, where is it? We need her like yesterday, you know? And when you return, everyone's like, oh yeah, she here. Hmm. Yeah, she's here, you know?
Got it.
And so we turn our backs and like, man, she got it.
See, I gotta
And
raise y'all up.
and
I
the
gotta teach
students are
y'all.
like, and the students are like, they look at us like, stinky lady, you know, like, save us, please. And we're looking at them like, no, I'm not, I don't even want to be a part of it. So,
No. And I
yeah,
tell them to their faces, she can't save you.
right. Oh, and I back you up. So I'm not that teacher that's going, even like a parent that's going to say, what did your mom say? And then I say something else. Oh, I got your back. So
Period.
it's like, what did your teacher say? And I know, you see me, so
Uh,
in action. So it's one of those like, I know this teacher right here. We
That
tag
part.
team. Like,
Mm.
yes.
Absolutely. And one of the key words you said, accountability.
Hmm.
That one is like ringing in my head. Because that's when we talk about the missteps and mistakes as adults, as children, and whatever tier of life we're in. That's really what it's about for me, like in my perception of it. Like, how does one hold themselves accountable without necessarily without being too harsh on oneself or in a situation or whatnot. But also like how do you um pivot?
Hmm.
How do you keep going in the sense of, oh, I made a mistake, or I fell short a little bit. How am I going to continue to put my best foot forward now that I've learned this new information, or now that I've had another opportunity to, move forward?
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we all have responsibilities. We all have things we got to do. Like, and just to people in general, as a community, like I have a responsibility to you. Like, as a newer teacher in the field, I may
Correct.
not have all the answers, but when I get them, I'm gonna come back to you or whatnot. Or if I don't have the time because I do all the things.
You wear many hats, Miss Lady. Yes, you do. So, but you wear them well, and you move, like I said, you move gracefully and powerfully, through the school because everyone, they trust you enough to know that you are capable of wearing all of those hats. Therefore, that's why you wear all of those hats because you are charged with doing that, and you do
Mhm.
it very well. So I want to give you your flowers and give you your, so yes, ma'am. You do
Let me
everything well.
try.
No,
Love
no,
it.
no, no. I believe in giving everyone their just due. Yes, ma'am.
I receive them. I do. I appreciate that. I feel seen.
So,
But yeah, it's just, I want to really address this with parents. Like,
mhm,
as I have the other things rolling out that I'm doing, I want to hold parent trainings and teach them because I think that parents do the best that they can with what
mhm,
they know
right.
from either how they were raised or wanting to do the opposite of how they were raised. Um, but for me, like if I ever get the opportunity to raise a little person, a baby or whatever, then I would like to take some of the things that I learned from my childhood and then add on to, the things that I've learned as an adult, to mold that person.
Mhm,
And I think that a lot of times people get bogged down into not wanting to have anything to do with how they were raised because they maybe felt like, because of the product that they became, was from their origins and how those people who raised them did what they could with what they had, with what they knew, or, maybe they felt like it wasn't enough or whatever, of whatever the things are. I really sincerely want to help parents, though I'm not a parent, so that might be a little tricky. But
no, 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 no. Hear me out. You're not a biological parent, but you are a parent, and you service many children, and you have had, like you just said, um, from the el- uh, what you call 11th grader, who
yeah,
was working in the store who recognized you, and you taught him when he was a little boy. So remember, parenting does not always have to be biological.
yeah, you're right.
Again,
I received that.
you wear many hats.
Yeah.
And as a teacher and in this profession, you are a parent, you are a counselor, you are a, a preacher, you are a nurse, lawyer, therapist, yes, behavior interventionist. You wear many hats. Just wish that the pay reflected all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that that's just my own personal thing. But
No, yeah, yeah. No, I got you.
with with that said, don't ever discount what you do.
No,
You are a
no.
parent. Okay?
I
Yes,
appreciate that.
ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. I just, I am that. I have many, many, many children, both in the physical and in the structural sense of the word. Um, I do. I'm curious, I guess, to see what it'll be like as I go forth and speak with these parents to help them so they can help their children and so they can help their children's teachers so we can keep teachers in the schools.
Yeah, that part.
you know, and
Yeah.
keep students on the up and up of as they matriculate.
Yeah.
Um,
Because, and believe it or not, sometimes the parents, they need the parenting too to
that's
heal, to
right. I say
heal.
it all the time.
Yes.
Parents
Sometimes the parents
need
need the
parenting.
parenting as well, to hear it from not only from the professional side of it, but
Yeah.
just from just the human side of it, just to
Uh,
say, your child is your child. We're not
right.
the parents, the true parent. And
Yeah.
therefore, what we've learned and what we've been to school for, we are able to implement it. But you, as the parent, you're your child's first teacher.
Right.
So, and I hope that everything with your um, group, for lack of a better term, will prosper. Because a lot of parents out here, they really do need the support. Yes,
Yeah. I
yeah.
received that. And it will. It's just the logistics of,
Yeah.
getting out
But
the
it's
house.
coming. It's coming.
Absolutely.
You know,
Oh, baby.
even with this platform, it's here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I know that several will see it. I know, and I know that I can't control how it's received. I just want it to be received. I
Correct.
want it to be out there.
Hmm.
Um, without, caring so much. And that's like the thing, going back to the root of the question of when you mistake or misstep or whatnot, like people are going to try to find something to be, offended by. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, and I try to tell parents all the time in my meetings, like, um, we appreciate your efforts, in what you do and ensuring that your kid is, on the right track and has what they need and whatnot. Can I offer you some advice from
Hmm.
a professional standpoint? Someone who knows your child, and, knows children, period, knows people,
Right.
knows behavior, like, giving a bit of guidance. And most times they've been pretty open. I've had a couple doozies,
Hmm.
that have, be like, you can't tell, no, no, no.
You can only
Okay.
put it out there. What's the saying? You can
You
lead a
can,
horse to water.
but you
Okay.
can't make them drink. Yes. Amen.
So
But yes,
you
I
you
am.
you are doing your part.
Yeah.
You're putting it out there. And for a
Yeah.
lot of people, that within itself, could be the toughest part, you know, and some would even say just by having this platform could be a mistake, or could be a misstep, but for you, this is your step into
Right.
what you want to accomplish, and so you could easily go back and question yourself to say, is this a mistake? Did I mess
Yeah.
to think that I could put this out here?
Right.
But you're not.
Okay.
You see what I'm
No.
saying? And so you're making those steps and keep taking every step to say, no, this gets me closer to my goal, you know?
Absolutely.
And it's not for everyone. Because if it
Mhm.
was, then everyone would be flocking here and say, you know,
Right.
I can't wait for the
Yes.
next, I can't wait for
Yeah.
the next guest. I can't wait for the next episode. So,
Mm.
but just know that every step that you're taking, you're following, and it's getting you closer to your ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's yeah. Every episode isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something for someone within the card deck itself.
Hmm.
Which again is coming out soon. I'm excited about it. Gonna start posting more about that on my socials and all the things and my stories and whatnot. So, but yeah, this was good. This was a good conversation.
Yes, it was.
I want this to be like the next ones and how it has been as a model of what the conversations can look like when you're having below the surface conversations. Because we went here, we went there. I mean, as we do.
Right, but it flows. And like conversations, like you just said, it's the highs, the lows, and the valleys and what have you. But everything, and I'm a true believer, everything works out when it's supposed to. Every person that you meet is when it is who you're supposed to meet, so everything happens in his time.
Amen.
I truly believe that.
Amen. That is benediction.
But it's definitely been a pleasure, and thank you for having me. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
myself.
Me too, me too. Thank you so much for chatting with me for this fifth episode. I can't believe I'm on episode five. Of Reviving the
See,
Art
that's
Side of
what I'm
God.
saying. Just
That's
every
great.
episode and it gets better.
It is. It's getting better and better as we go. So yeah, viewers, please like, share, subscribe, chime into the conversation, share it with a friend who or someone who you think might benefit from it. If it wasn't for you this time, that's cool. No worries. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and we'll see you back here next time.